Hi there. Today's lesson is about solving equations with nth roots. So the great thing about this lesson is that you already have all of the math knowledge. We just have to put it all together. So the idea is that we need to get x by itself. So the only thing that's bothering this x is this exponent. So in order to get rid of it, I need to take the fifth root because that's the only way it's going to cancel out. So I get x equals, well, the fifth root of 137, I'm going to do in my calculator. And you should have a calculator with you and following along. So the first thing that you need to do is type in the number 5. Then you're going to hit the math button. And then you're going to choose option number 5. So it's the fifth root of 137. Enter. So I got 2.68. And that's my answer. So part B has a few more steps though. So that was just like a one-step equation. So to help us stay organized, I want you to remember your order of operations. However, I also want you to remember that when you're solving, you need to go backwards. So maybe we should use SADMEP, if you will, to help keep yourself organized. So the first thing you're going to ask yourself, can I subtract anything? Yeah, I can. Oops, minus 2, minus 2. So I have 3x to the fourth equals 3. Then I'm going to go, can I divide or multiply anything? Say, yeah, I can divide by 3. So x to the fourth equals 1. And then do I have any exponents? I sure do. I have a fourth, x to the fourth. And the only way to get rid of an x to the fourth is to take the fourth root. So on both sides. So then I get x, right? Because the way this works is that the nth root of x to the n power equals x. Basically, they cancel each other out. So, special piece of here that we have to remember from a little while ago when we did square roots, we need a plus or minus 1. So you need a plus or minus with an even root. It's very important. Alrighty, moving on. So again, I'm going to write it over here so I don't forget. I'm going to write my order of operations backwards. So first, can you add or subtract anything? No, because this is inside the parentheses. It's blocked. So no. Can you multiply or divide anything? No. So the next step is to take care of your exponent. So I'm going to take the fifth root of both sides. So I get x plus 3 equals. And then I'm going to take the fifth root of 32 in my calculator. So remember 5, math, 5, 32. And I get 2. So x plus 3 equals 2. The last step would be to subtract 3. So x equals negative 1. Alrighty. Part D. So again, I'm going with my order of operations, so there's nothing to add or subtract, but the next thing would be to divide by negative 1. So x minus 1 to the 7th power equals negative 125. So I'm going to take the square root, or the 7th root, excuse me, it has to be a 7 to cancel out that 7. So I'm left with x minus 1. And then I'm going to do that in my calculator. So 7th root is 7, math, negative, oh no, math 5, sorry, math 5, negative 125, enter. We got negative 1.99. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So x equals 0.99. Alrighty, we're getting there. 2 more examples. So again, I'm going to write it out again just because it helps so much to stay organized, where that's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally backwards because we're solving. So the first thing you ask yourself, can I add or subtract? Absolutely, I can subtract 12. So negative 3x plus 2 to the third equals 8. Then I say, okay, can I divide or multiply? Absolutely, I can divide by negative 1. So 3x plus 2 to the third equals negative 8. Then the next step is my exponents. So I have a power of 3, so I need to take the third root of both sides. So I've got 3x plus 2, and then I'm going to take the third root of my calculator, so I'm going to hit the math button. There's actually a special third root button, that's number 4, of negative 8, and the answer is negative 2. So 3x plus 2 equals negative 2. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and everybody needs to promise to be very careful with any negatives. And you get negative 4. To get x by itself, the last piece is to divide both sides by 3. So x equals negative 4/3. You could type that in your calculator, but it's just a little bit easier to leave it as a fraction. Okay, last one. I'm going to write out my order of operations backwards. So I'm going to add and subtract first. So that is a plus 25 on both sides. So x minus 5 to the 8th power equals 15. There's nothing to multiply or divide here. So then it is exponents. And remember, we always need to take the root to get rid of the exponent. So that is the 8th root on both sides. So x minus 5 equals, I hope you didn't forget about that plus or minus. 8 is an even number, so anytime it's an even root, you need that plus or minus. And then let's take the 8th root of 15. So 8, you get the math button. Option number 5 of 15, you get 1.4. So plus or minus 1.4. So what that means is that x minus 5 could either be positive 1.4 or x minus 5 could be negative 1.4. So I need to solve both of these for x. So x equals 6.4, or, and don't feel like it's okay to have to use your calculator, right? You could say negative 1.4, plus 5. There's no shame in using your calculator to get x equals 3.6. So this one you have two answers, and that happens sometimes. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and now it's your turn to practice.